What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with my reaction to 2023 Spotify Wrapped. Yes, our favorite time of the year is back. To me, it's probably the best and most fun part of user data collection. We know that we are being watched and listened to. At least give us some fun data insights. In the case of Spotify Wrapped, I'm always very interested in what my listening habits pertained. I always find personal statistics like that very interesting. So I am a big fan of Spotify Wrapped. I'm not a curmudgeon who complains about seeing people sharing them on their stories. By all means, share what you listen to. And yeah, I think there's nothing too surprising about like the global trends with Spotify Wrapped. Just kind of going through it here. If you look, globally, number one artist was Taylor Swift. On its surface, perhaps not a huge surprise, but Bad Bunny had been the number one global artist the last 3 years in a row. He is now down to number two this year. So Taylor breaking that Bunny win streak. I'm sure he'll be back. Rounding out the top five, The Weeknd, Drake, and Peso Pluma at number five. I reviewed Peso Pluma's album back in June, Genesis. I was saying how big a deal he was becoming very quickly, and I also bemoaned the Grammys for surprisingly omitting him from Best New Artist, despite nominating him in a different category, a genre category. Proof is in the pudding here. Peso Pluma is absolutely gigantic out of Mexico. Insane stuff. Really cool. So that top four minus Peso Pluma is the same from last year, just a different order. Pluma taking the place of BTS this time around. BTS, of course, on hiatus. No new material at album length this past year as a group, so that makes plenty of sense. On the album side of things, it's funny. The number one album was still from Bad Bunny. It was Un Verano Sin Ti, which of course is from last year. Number two was Midnight's. Number three from Taylor. Then number three was SZA's SOS. I guess that all kind of makes sense. Midnight's and SOS specifically came out at the very end of 2022. Nothing too surprising. Also, like, we never had like a monster new album come out this year, and if you look at the big song list, you can kind of see that trend. Number one song of the year globally, Flowers, 1.6 billion streams, certainly helped by the fact that that came out at the very beginning of the year. Number two is Kill Bill from SZA. Number three, As It Was from Harry. Obviously a very old song at this point. I feel like As It Was is kind of replaced. Blinding Lights is like that just ubiquitous pop song that's just sticking around forever. So kind of interesting. Number four, Jungkook's Seven, which I think is a song that has a chance to perhaps pass Flowers and Kill Bill. That song is just absolutely gigantic. And then number five was El Baila Sola from Peso Pluma. Surprise, surprise. Also on that list in the top 10 global songs, number six, Taylor Swift's Cruel Summer. Very impressive considering that is a song from 2019. Metro Boomin, The Weeknd, and 21 Savage's Creepin'. This song obviously became a huge hit. Definitely surprising. Obviously, The Weeknd carried this song to its popularity, but if you look at the overall billions on billions of streams for Metro Boomin in general, apart from this song, it's kind of crazy how big an artist he became off that Heroes and Villains album from the end of last year. Also in the top 10, at 10, you have Antihero from Taylor, the only one person with two songs in the global top 10. Calm Down by Rema featuring Selena Gomez. Shout out Afrobeats. Rema, rapidly rising new face in that scene for sure. Then in the US, that top five for artists, slightly different, but just barely. Number one, Taylor. Number two, Drake. Number three, Morgan Wallen. Number four, Weeknd. Number five, Bunny. Nothing too surprising with that, I think. And yeah, I mean, number one podcast, once again, Joe Rogan. Nothing too surprising there. My personal Wrapped, I actually listen to less music overall, and they gave me the hypnotist personality, which is what they give you if you play albums all the way through, which I thought was really funny because me personally, I actually listened to, I think, less overall albums this year, and I sampled a lot more as a result. So it's the year I've actually followed that track to the least degree, funny enough. In terms of my artists, number one was Drake, no surprise. He had an album I really liked come out at the end of last year that I listened to into this year. And of course, he released a new album very recently. So Drake almost always is number one for me or close to it. And part of that is because he always releases new music. So not a big surprise. Number 2 is Le Sserafim. Number 3 is New Jeans. 2 K-pop artists in my top 5. Not a big shock for me. Le Sserafim I didn't really discover and start listening to the very beginning of this year anyway, so that certainly helps. Of course, New Jeans had 2 drops this year, and Le Sserafim had a new drop as well, so it all makes sense. Number 4 for me is Jaleel, the alternative rapper. I certainly dove into his music, in the spring, but I'm kind of surprised that he was up this high. I mean, I liked his song "Dive In," the remix of it a lot, but I was surprised to see Jaleel this high. Not gonna lie, I'm not sure how accurate that is. Number 5 is Troye Sivan, whose album is one of my favorite albums of the year. I love the lead single off it, "Rush." That one's great. Top genre rap overall, and then uh, following rap, my next genres are pop, K-pop, alternative R&B, and then K-pop girl group as a genre that's somehow different from K-pop. Kind of dumb, very dumb. They're the same thing. Kind of weird. Yeah. Anyway, looking at my top songs, my number one, I pretty much was positive was going to be the case. It's Popular from The Weeknd featuring Playboi Carti and Madonna off the Idol soundtrack, the HBO series. And then number 3 is World Class Sinner / I'm a Freak by Lily Rose Depp, also off the Idol soundtrack. The Idol, a show I didn't like in the end. I reviewed the show, but I love those songs. Those songs are bangers. They're the best thing about the show. And there they are, 1 and 3. Number 2 is Jumbotron Shit Poppin' from Drake off Her Loss last year. Wouldn't have guessed that off the rip as my number 1 Her Loss song, but it certainly tracks. Number 4 is Dumbest Girl Alive from 100 Gex off their new album, 10,000 Gex from this year. Surprised to see you quite this high, but I certainly love the song. The the Coheed and Cambria-esque riff, the way that song jumps in, certainly had me going back to it a lot. And the number 5 for me is Bottle Service by Shoreline Mafia, which is a song from like 2017 that I kind of rediscovered this year. I'm a big Shoreline Mafia fan. They're, of course, a group that's no longer together. And I kind of realized that Bottle Service is perhaps their best song of all, and I kind of overlooked it to this point. So, yeah, there it is at number 5. Looking at the playlist they give you for more insights into your top song after that top 5. Number 6 was K Flock's Shake It. Number 7, Jungkook's 7. Number 8, Troye Sivan's Rush. Number 9, Hype Boy by New Jeans. Number 10, Major Distribution by Drake and 21. Yeah, all that makes a lot of sense. Shake It, 7, really catchy songs. Hype Boy, probably up there with my favorite K-pop songs of all time. Really cool. Got some EDM up here. Listen to Fred Against Delilah a ton. Medusa's Piece of Your Heart a lot. They're here. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I like the look of this playlist I have here. I think most people would, and that's what's fun about rap to me. And the Apple Music version of it as well. Like, just getting the insights into what you actually enjoy and seeing it present to you in data. Yes, they're spying, but they're spying anyway. At least make it fun. Very few entities in tech do this to us, right? So I'm with it. Shout out Spotify Rap. Leave a comment. Let me know what do you think of my stats. Tell me about your Spotify Rap. What do you think about the global rap stats, etc. Let me know how you're feeling. And make sure you return for my best music of 2023 pod coming soon. Subscribe, youtube.com/nostalgia pod. Let me know. That's coming up soon. Best K-pop songs of the year also coming up. And yeah, see you next time.